Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Europa Universalis IV. This is the Community Clash, and this is the... Whoops, I meant to record what session this is. Third? Fourth session? Fourth session, I think. And we shall list up which players are here. So, in the... Well, we have two changes. Well, one change and one newcomer. The first change is that Saxony has conceded defeat to the other Germanic nations and has switched over to playing as Kilwa. Then the second one, which you may well have noticed, is there is now a giant red blob on the eastern side. We have Bussy coming in as the Timurids. And I was recording chat when he came in and when he first loaded in, and it was hilarious. So many groans, so many no's, and so many expletives, which I'll probably still put on YouTube or something because it's kind of funny. So, yeah, we do now have a wild Timurids have entered the building, and they should really shake things up for the east, because obviously the Mamelukes and Hungary have not exactly been performing particularly well, so there are definitely some other big players over here to control things a little bit. Refresh. I don't know what's up with Twitch today, the title keeps on screwing up, but it is properly set. Right, so let's go through the players and who they are all playing as, because it's been a little while since I've done this. Where's the player map mode? There it is. Under diplomatic. So let's go from the top. We have 48 playing as the remnants of Aragon. They did get a couple of territories back from the French last time, but they are still in a rather rough position. Then we have Arachnos over in Karakanulu, who were the ones probably yelling the loudest about the fact that there are now Timurids, because he's been sending me a lot of... I kind of felt bad about this. He's been sending me a lot of private messages like, how do I form Persia? How does Persia work? Does the culture shifting and all that stuff work? And I was like, I don't know, and I probably shouldn't be answering this right now because it may not matter. I mean, it might. He might actually be able to form Persia. We shall see. But with a wild Timurids now in the building, that is going to be rather more difficult. I feel QQ may become the new Poland. They did actually say that in chat. And yeah, we burst out laughing. Then we have got Blue Kiwi in the Knights. And has he actually taken Cyprus? He's taken Cyprus. I missed that last time. Fantastic. So the Knights have actually expanded a little bit. Then we have Bussy over in the Timurids, as we were just talking about. And Timurids are actually in a pretty good space. We'll talk about that once all of the player introductions are done. We've got Calico over in France, no longer substitutes. It is the real player this time. We have got Commander Faceless over in the newly independent Sweden. We've got Dr. Coxon in the Papal States, the rather large and powerful Papal States. Then we've got Darkfighter up in Muscovy, Dat Guy over in Brandenburg, Gustav Koringa in Genoa. I forgot where Genoa had departed to there. We've got Helson in the Ottomans, Kaiser Wilhelm in Ethiopia, as soon as I remember where they are. Or rather, we've got rebels in Ethiopia.
Alright, I'm going to unpause it so we can get this over.
Let's do this. Oh man, I'm so happy with myself and pulling that. I've outdone myself, I feel. Setting up the laptop there. Okay, where were we up to? Ethiopia. No, the rebels. Then we've got Machiavelli, also known as Val, over in Florence. And we've got Mean Wolf in Portugal. Portugal having now actually got some colonies over in the New World as well, the first one to have done so. We've got Pharonix in Oman. So Oman is another one that's probably eyeing up the Red Beast with a couple of worried looks. Then we've got Slurfen in Trier, who did take a couple of casualties last time when they were slammed down by the Brandenburg-Bohemia-Austria alliance. We've got Kilwa, the Empty Road, having shifted from Saxony to Kilwa. These new goals, by the way, are posted on the goals thing. If someone wants to do ! Goal, that would be very, very nice, so that people can see what we're actually competing over. Then we've got the Venetian Merchant in Venice, also known as a different name, which I can't say off the top of my head. Then we've got Klemp in Cologne, also known as Cologne, probably the only of the German powers to have been relatively unscathed from the recent upheaval in the area. We've got CPM in Castile looking rather strong. We've got Grass in England, having mostly unified, a couple of the Irish provinces still to go here. Then we have got that guy from California in Austria, and Marcus is back this week in Tunis, so the pirates are here once more. Shame about Saxony, but I can see leaving it for the faction to die. I mean, Saxony was down to 2 provinces, not even including their capital, which is Dresden. And he was really getting picked on by everyone around him, so he was like, you know what, I've had enough. We're going to bail. There are a couple of players missing today, including Holland, as someone's asking about Holland. Those protected players this week are, I believe there's 4 of them, Holland, Denmark, Poland, and... yeah, okay, I've forgotten the 4th one already. Holland, Denmark, Poland, and Bohemia. That was the other one. So I believe that at least one of those players is supposed to be coming. They're just late. But the others I have not heard from. And I have pinged them on the Discord, so they have had their warning. Is that Prussian player from Season 1 of the last community multiplayer here? Who was playing as Prussia? Was that Fewer? Yeah, that was Fewer. No, Fewer is not. Has Hungary officially dropped? No idea. We have not heard anything from Hungary since they signed up. So Hungary is not protected. Mamelukes are not protected. Saxony is not protected. The guy who was supposed to be playing Kazan of the Great Horde didn't show either, so they are not protected. And there was another... Naples. Naples is not protected, though Naples doesn't... oh no, they still have 1 province. Oh, we have someone joining. Who's this? Holy Victor. We have a Denmark. Okay, let's move Denmark up to the no longer protected. So it's just Bohemia, Holland, and Poland who are missing, none of which I've heard from, so it is a little bit surprising. Especially because Fizzbiscuits has actually been messaging me. Fun enough, Naples' last territory is Napoli. Yes, it is, isn't it? This is a really nice papal state, so I'm quite happy with that. The other thing that we do need to check on is the religious map mode, because the Reformation did start happening towards the end of the previous session, which means that we have got what would have been the Religious League Wars kicking off, but I've basically fabricated my own Religious League War, so we shall see what happens with that. I'm actually really surprised if Fizzbiscuit's not here. He was messaging me not that long ago. Actually, it was 3 AM yesterday. Fair enough. So, a bit surprised. Also, I can really hear my fan again today. Well, it is still hot in the UK. Not as bad as yesterday. But that's probably causing my computer to go, ah, I'm burning in here. Because recording stuff is apparently really quite strong in terms of the CPU and graphics processing required. Papal States, he's well on the way to establish the Kingdom of God. Yes, he is. That's basically their Italy, isn't it? Because I think they have one which is... just turning the microphone away. I wonder if it's just vibrations that are coming through. Let's lift this up. Oh, it is. Interesting. Huh. Yep, it's vibration through my desk because my microphone is on the desk. I don't have one of the dangly things. Who is the new this week, Cold Rage? We have got Bussy coming in as the Timurids. And Saxony has been abandoned, and he is now playing as Kilwa. Alright, Holy Victor is loading in right now. And then I'm going to take a look at the Kingdom of God decision for the Pope. Because I want to see what he is missing. Yeah, poor QQ. QQ are definitely the ones screwed the most by this. Although, I was going to say, they can expand northwards, but then Genoa is kind of blocking their northward expansion now. Because they got the Ottomans, they got Genoa, they got the Timurids, they got Oman. And well, they could potentially get through the Mamelukes through Fadl here, if it's not an Ottoman vassal. No, it's a Mamluk vassal. That's perfect. Yeah, they can go that way. Right, what was I going to check? Oh yes, Kingdom of God. So let's go over to the Papal States, then take a look at their decisions, then enact the Kingdom of God. It requires Piedmont, Milan, Modena, Südtirol, Friuli, Venezia, and Florence and Pisa. So no, he can't. There's still a fair amount to do. And in fact, as you hover over this, you can see everything being highlighted in purple. So he basically needs northern Italy to do that. And there are a couple more players up here that he would need to contend with. I mean, he's already bought Genoa's former territories from Genoa. However, he's still got Venice and Florence to deal with if he wanted to form the Kingdom of God. I mean, he could. He could try. Certainly. Right, the other thing I wanted to check was who the religions are. So towards the end of the last session, we had the Protestant Reformation finally kicking off. There are centres of Reformation in Stockholm, in Sweden. That's a very lucky one. They've got one up here in Co in Normandy. And the third one is... Where's the third one? Ah, down here. Naples. Oh man, that's going to piss the Pope off. So many of the Pope's territories are going to get converted by Naples. Oh, that's hilarious. Also, kind of bad for the Protestants, because that's effectively a wasted centre of Reformation, which another player, I am sure, would have wanted to snap that up. Germany, in particular, is going to struggle to convert here. Bohemia does not have a centre of Reformation, for example. Neither does Brandenburg. Though Brandenburg has already switched, Bohemia has not. Austria, interestingly, has switched to Protestant. As has France. Sweden has. Denmark has. I think those are all of the major players. That's all Austria. Württemberg has. That's all French. Yeah, so those are the countries that have switched. Then we've got Orthodox, of course, over here in Muscovy. The Timurids are currently Sunni, although they can actually, interestingly, become Sikh, which would allow Timmy to really kick off with the old military powers. Where is it? It is a decision, isn't it? Yeah, convert to Sikhism. So Timurids could do that if they wanted to, although he's already marked it as don't bother me with this. And we were discussing it, like I did say to Bursi if he wanted to play as the Timmy and wanted to become Sikh, and I'd add some of the goals to do that. But in the end, I decided to make his goals a little bit more open-ended, so he can go for the Mughals if he wants to, he can go for Timurids if he wants to, he can go for Persia if he wants to. It's all open. He can do what he wants. Florence may well become Protestant. Florence has talked about many different religions at many different times. I think Florence is very, very flexible when it comes to those types of decisions. Bear in mind that a couple of the nations do have goals which are religious related. I don't think Florence is one of them. Like, the big religious ones is Bohemia for the Protestants, so it's kind of hilarious that of all of the large German nations, Bohemia is the one that has not embraced Protestantism yet. Although he may just be relying on his neighbours to convert him or something like that. It might be difficult. Who else is a religious one? Austria has a religious goal. Austria is actually supposed to be pro-Catholicism. So Austria has already kind of thrown that goal. Bohemia is Protestant. Brandenburg wants to be Protestant so he can form Prussia. Castile doesn't care. Cologne is pro-Catholic. Denmark is pro-Protestant, so that makes sense that he is converted. Ethiopia is pro-Coptic, of course. Ethiopia is one of the unique ones where they are Coptic, and they're really up against it. Kind of like Oman being a Badi. Ethiopia is very focused on spreading Coptic faith. The Badi doesn't really care. They're kind of flexible. They're very pragmatic. Then Florence doesn't care. France doesn't care. Genoa doesn't care. Holland doesn't care. Mamelukes are pro-Islamic. Yeah, they want to make sure that Egypt, Maghreb, and the Horn of Africa are fully Islamic. Muscovy doesn't care. So we could actually see a Muscovy trying to convert away from Orthodoxy if he wanted to. The Ottomans are pro-Islamic. In fact, no, the Ottomans ensure that each Christian faction, Catholic versus Protestants reforms, have no more than one great power than the others. So if 2 Catholics and 1 Protestant are here, then he has to basically go against the Catholics to knock the Catholics down a peg, because he wants to basically ensure a balance between the Catholics and the Protestants. Papal states obviously pro-Catholic, like super-duper pro-Catholic. Karakanulu are pro-Shia. So Karakanulu are one of the few Shia nations to start out with, and that is definitely going to be one of the things which brings them into a bit of a rivalry with the Ottomans, although the Ottomans I think is just purely Islamic. Yeah, are fully Islamic. Doesn't care if it's Sunni or Shia, so he could actually try to convert to Shia if he wanted to. Sweden is pro-Protestant, Trier is pro-Catholic, Tunis doesn't care, Venice doesn't care, the Knights are very pro-Catholic, Oman doesn't care, and I don't think Kilwa or Timmy do either. Right, who's this? We have a Fizzbiscuits MacGuffin, so here is Poland joining right now, so we can take Poland out of the protected list. Just updating my paperwork here. Okay. So now it is just Holland and Bohemia who are not here. Can the Knights form Jerusalem? Is that a Cyprus thing? Yes, the Knights can indeed form Jerusalem. One of their goals might even be that. I mean, the other thing that we do need to do is continue talking about the various goals and objectives that the other nations have. I do generally have the ideas in alphabetical order, the nations in alphabetical order, and we got down to Muscovy. So we still have like the Ottomans, Papal States, Poland, etc. to cover. And just scanning the Knights here. No, they don't need to. They can, but it's not one of their specific goals. Or possibly it's their secret goal. Possibly. The Knights, Cyprus and Provence can form Jerusalem, but only in the first 2 ages. Haha. So if we just go and click on the Knights real quick and then take a look at their decisions. Re-establish the Kingdom of Jerusalem, which requires Gaza, Al-Quds and Jaffa, which are these 3 down here. And they just need to make sure that those accord and stated. And if they do that, then they get a core on Gaza, Trablus, Al-Quds, Al-Karak, Aijun, Jaffa, Saida, Manan, Akbar, and they change to Jerusalem with no traditions and ambitions. So there you go. Alright, so we have a Poland, which is very pro-Catholic. Like, one of their goals is actually to be the Catholic defender of the faith for 25 years. Not an easy one, because a lot of people can contend that. Hey, Zate, how are you doing? Alright, so we were going to take a look at the state of Timurids. So Timurids, as I said, were left by the AI in a pretty good state. They have got economic ideas already going, which is good, because that's going to give the Timurids the economic foundations from which to build a huge state. They have obviously got a lot of territory. They were not too badly off in terms of finances and manpower. I think there were like 1 or 2 loans in debt, but that was it. And they are making a pretty healthy amount of cash. So that's not a problem. I should mention, limited the Timurids this week to not spread east. He's not allowed, not spread southeast. He's not allowed into the Indian continent this session. From next session, those gloves are off. But for this session, I wanted to give like Europeans and Oman and people like that a little bit of time to get into India, if they are thus able to do so.